With the City Council's meeting coming up tomorrow night, we're so happy to once again have Mayor Tim Kabat come join us in the studio today to talk about what's going on at City Hall and in the community. And thanks so much for being with us again today. Mayor, I wanted to start by talking about something that's pretty scary, and we're talking a lot about this week in the community, this officer-involved shooting that happened over the weekend. We've been covering it. The officer was mentioned yesterday. He was shot, luckily, in the vest. But it shakes a community, especially in this day and age. What's the reaction that you're hearing from the police department and from people in the community?
Well, it is a very scary situation, and we're very lucky that no one was killed in that whole situation. In my mind, it really points to the professionalism and the training that our police officers go through, and with Officer Darling especially, you can only imagine kind of the split-second decision making that has to happen, the reaction. There were, we understand, children in the house, the ex-wife and others in that immediate vicinity, the neighbors. So you're just very thankful that no one was seriously injured. I understand, obviously, the individual is still in the hospital, but all in all, that situation could have been much worse, except for really the training of our officers to go through that and to be able to really protect the public.
This is the second shooting that has happened in just the recent weeks here in La Crosse, and the downtown shooting that happened, we were very fortunate by the use of our SafeCams. How successful has that been for the city of La Crosse?
Well, in that specific incident was incredibly successful because the police identified the shooter within a day. So within a very short period of time, they were able to use that as the tool that it was intended to basically see what had happened, identified the person, arrested that individual. And again, I think it shows us as a community that we're not going to tolerate shootings and firearms like that in our community. We're going to do everything we can to address it when it happens and hold people accountable. And again, back to the training and professionalism of our law enforcement to be able to do that job, to work with our business community, because they also relied on some of the videos from inside of the bars and restaurants downtown. So really that partnership was another great example of the community and the police coming together. And even though those two shootings were very frightening and horrific, both of the outcomes, I think, were and are what we'd hoped for.
Sure. While we're talking about the police department, I know it's early, but with Chief Ron Tischer leaving and that position being opened, are there any updates happening right now?
Well, the Police and Fire Commission has gone through the job description for the chief, and just to make sure that it's current and relevant, and has also kind of that forward motion that we want for our next chief. And I would imagine that the notice that goes out then kind of casting a wide net to see who's interested in applying for that will happen soon. So I would, it's really a process over the next couple of months that will go through the Police and Fire Commission, and I'm fortunate to be, I get a chance to kind of sit in and see the deliberations of that, but I know that they'll do a good job in selecting our next chief.
I want to talk about the fire department right now, or fire stations in particular, because this has been a discussion going on for a long time. City leaders are going to vote in the fall, I believe, on issues pertaining a new fire department. Where are we at with that, and how is that looking?
So part of the request for our annual capital improvement budget includes monies for both a new north side station as well as a far south side station. That process kind of, again, works its way through committees, and we've got a public hearing coming up from the public that we're hoping to get input on. And by this fall, we'll have hopefully some approvals to take that to the next step, which would be to build some new stations. I think especially on the north side, we're looking at
Station 4 is the oldest one, right?
That's correct, and we're looking at trying to basically replace and update that, because that station is, as you said, it's the oldest station. It was built way before
Like
just
the 40s, I think,
exactly,
1940s.
way before the issues that we face today. And so, and the far north side, the far south side are important because then it really is kind of the chess pieces for how the rest of the city gets sorted out when it comes to putting those stations in the right locations for the responses that are needed.
I saved what is my favorite thing for last because
Okay.
I'm so excited to talk about the public market, and I just
Yes.
want an update and where we're at. I know that we're taking our time. We want to
Yes.
get this right, but what's
Let's get
happening here,
moving.
right?
Well, we are trying to balance all of that to do it again the right job. The group, the community, and the folks that we've hired are working through their process. We just, I think it was last week, had one of the co-owners, managers of the Milwaukee Public Market come and share their experience, which I think was very well received. A lot of questions we saw at that meeting, a lot of interest by our business and building owners to just learn more. So I think there's a lot of excitement. It's kind of fun to see kind of that pent up excitement, like when is this going to happen?
Right.
You're not the only one who's kind of chomping at the bit, because I think it is something that would be a very much a welcome addition to just, we have such incredible farmers markets, and, it would be great to have them year round rather than just trying
Right.
to squeeze them all in the little bit of summer that we have.
A nice universal location.
Yes.
Which, by the way, speaking of location, what's it going
We're,
to be?
we're not quite there yet.
I was really hoping I could get something
we're getting
out of
closer. Somewhere in the downtown area, I think, is their preference, but we're trying to really look at all locations to do something that's going to make sense.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much,
Sure.
Mayor Kabat. We love having you and getting updated on
bet.
all things the city. We appreciate it. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.